Spencer. He is a fourth grade teacher at Lincoln Elementary School in Pennsylvania, where he has been practicing his edutainment philosophy since 2005. And, that's combining education with fun and technology and engagement. And I know that based on what I've read about him, he is called the Engager. And so we're really happy to have him. He's developed some unique programs, and he is capturing these kids' attention and their interests and their minds to want to learn. And so let me welcome Bryan here. Bryan, hey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Welcome to our show.
Thanks.
So you have, you've been doing this for how long now?
This is my 9th year teaching 4th grade. So.
And when you got started, did you have in mind that you were going to be this maverick? Or did you enter? Why did you enter education to begin with?
I always liked hanging out with kids when I was younger, and just got along with everybody in my neighborhood really well. And I had a lot of fun experiences being a mentor with the Big Buddy program at my high school and such. Yeah.
And you love kids.
Yeah, kids are fun to hang out with. I'm a kid, so if I could have a profession where I'm hanging out with kids and having fun, why not?
Yeah, me too. They always said I was kid-like. Hold on a second, Bryan. We have a phone call. Hello? Is somebody on the line?
Oh, hi, that's me. Thank you for taking my call.
Hey, who is this?
My name is Jennifer Elston.
Hey,
Hi,
Jennifer.
Mr. Spencer.
Oh, hi. How are you, Mrs. Elston?
Hi. I'm just calling in because I would just like to make a comment about Mr. Spencer. My daughter actually has him this year in the 4th grade, and we just love how he has made learning so much fun over at Lincoln Elementary. We were really impressed, especially our daughter came home one day, and she knew and understood the entire structure of a cell simply because the class acted out each part. And we just thought it was a really great example of how kinesthetic learning can enable learning to happen extremely quickly. And she looks forward to the snack every Friday. Mr. Spencer puts just really great rewards in place to help motivate the kids to do well during the week. I told her that she's really lucky to have Mr. Spencer, and she'll probably never have another teacher like him. So I want to thank Mr. Spencer for all he's done for our school and for my daughter especially. And I'd like to urge all the teachers listening, all the people listening, to check out Mr. Spencer's book. It's really enlightening, and it's awesome. You won't be disappointed.
Can I ask you a question? And you made a statement about she probably will never have a teacher like him again, and you might be very much right on, but hopefully his seeds are being planted. But I want to ask you something as a parent. I know it must be so rewarding to see your child come home from school wanting to go to school, because so often kids today, the smarter they are, the less they want to go to school. So as a parent, how are you able to follow the philosophy of what Bryan has done in school? Are you able to do that? Because his philosophy so much resembles like homeschooling, where you do things that are just so out of the box. So how are you able to do that at home, or can you?
Absolutely. Actually, I'm an educator myself, and I've read Mr. Spencer's book. So a lot of the techniques he uses I appreciate, and I think they do belong in the classroom. So we utilize internet technology, and we chat with Mr. Spencer. So Mr. Spencer always makes himself available to us. So
good.
It's definitely not difficult.
Well, I'm sure you'll be an advocate in the 5th grade, the 6th grade, and beyond for having somebody just like Bryan in your daughter's classroom.
Absolutely.
Great. So thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, Bryan, that was great. And I'm sure that there's tons of, dozens of parents that would share the same sentiment. I guess, so you've always loved kids. And
yeah,
what clicked for you when you went from traditional teaching to this entertainment teaching? What happened?
I actually honestly don't think I've ever tried doing traditional teaching. Since the onset, I've tried to do entertaining kind of teaching edutainment. Whenever I was, moving into my classroom, a lot of the things that I had growing up in my bedroom came into my classroom, like a basketball hoop and a disco ball and a light up keyboard and a 6'6" tall Michael Jordan that we call our cardboard assistant. He helps assist the kids, with various tasks. I post things for center work up there, and they know to consult with the cardboard assistant before, coming and asking me a question. That way I'm not getting interrupted with a small group of students I'm working with at their level, trying to get them where they need to be. So I've always tried to think out of the box. I've always had fun. I've always done that, even in college as a resident assistant, an orientation leader. When I worked at Chuck E. Cheese, I tried to act crazy in the rat costume and just interact well with the kids, playing the games and fixing the games as a technician also at Chuck E. Cheese. And I just always thought kids are fun. They make you younger. And
so what made you realize that education needed to be fun, and that your type of fun? What made you realize that was the direction to go?
Just having conversations with kids. I mean, they can relate to pop culture. They can relate to music videos. They can relate to singing karaoke or virtual field trips and going on vacations. And I just thought, do things that kids can relate to. That's how you're going to reach out to them. That's how they're going to learn. That's what they're going to remember. When kids can relate to something, they're constantly being able to, organize that in their mind, and they're able to, go back and think back on that experience, and then that's how they can organize information. So I thought, relating it to what they know is how they're going to remember it and organize it in their minds, and it's just kind of what I try to do.
So I saw the video with the kids singing and playing with the words of cells and things like that, and I was wondering, when I watched the video, do they really understand what it is that they're learning at that level, or are they spending so much time just having fun, or are they really getting it?
I think they're really, really getting it. This year, we spend some time. I think it's important for kids to be able to collaborate, and that's a huge life skill. Be good collaborators and problem solvers. And in the classroom, when we're sitting together and we're looking at the cell parts, and they're coming up with different ways to act them out, and then we're doing it, a few times, and then recording it and putting some music behind it and putting that on my website for them to view and to show their friends and family. They're really, starting to understand it, and they can, repetition sticks. That are watching it over and over again. They're acting it out. When you're acting it out, you're learning it, and whenever you're watching it over and over again, you're remembering it with the music attached to it. Music's a good way to also learn. Whenever music's attached to it, they can remember what they're learning. And I gave the test, and I must say that they were actually all A's on the test this year on the Living Things test that had the cell parts on it. Mm-hmm. So what other way to prove that it's working than giving an assessment and having some data to back it up? And it seems to be the case for some of these strategies that I use. Or actually, I would say most of them, or all of them, or I wouldn't use them. I'd think of something else to do or change them to make them work better.
So I guess if they like it, they learn. It's like if you build it, they'll come.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it.
Right. So, and they like the music, and they like, and they feel good about seeing themselves do it.
Oh yeah, and I always give them the option. There's some shy students. I encourage them to do it. If they don't want to, they don't have to. And they don't have to be in the video, but they enjoy watching it. I had 2 kids that didn't want to be in the video this year, and they enjoyed watching their classmates. I saw them laughing and giggling, as they were watching them act it out. So, and that's fine. Everyone's different. You don't have to be in front of the camera.
Right.
That's just, everyone's different. Extroverts, introverts, so no pressure.
Well, the thing is, you mentioned the word collaboration, which lately I feel like I am like all over, especially since what just went on in Congress. I feel like we can't teach these things enough. And so when you are working with your kids, are you keeping in mind like these specific things, like the background thing, like the collaboration and things like that? Are you keeping all of that in mind when you are discovering these lesson plans that you're doing? Is it so like teaching cells, but then you have this other thing about this other sidebar about collaboration? Are you incorporating all of that all the time?
Yeah, I mean, collaboration and problem solving is always in the back of my mind. That's even our district. It's in our district statement about being good collaborators and problem solvers. That's our goal as teachers, and I think that's what we need in the world. So when I'm planning lessons, when I'm coming up with ways to teach something, I think that's what we need in the world. I always want to have, I think I was getting some feedback. I always want to make sure that they're collaborating with each other. Some of the skills that we learn or some of the concepts might not necessarily be used that much in their lives, but what will always be used is their ability to problem solve and collaborate. And I think the concepts we teach open that window for kids to be able to problem solve and collaborate, and they might not necessarily use every single thing we teach. Right. Big secret, but they're learning how to collaborate and problem solve, and that's what's needed.
Well, I think it's, problem solving. I mean, if any one of us, I'm 59 years old, and I know that when we look at stress and how intrinsic it is throughout everything that we do, if the better we could collaborate, first of all, but the better we can problem solve, it would probably cut down on the amount of stress that we're all living in our lives.
Yeah.
Seriously. And I just want to throw out here, once again, the number is 919-518-9773. If you call in and you don't get me to say hello to you right away, just give me a second, because we might be right in the middle of saying something and I don't want to interrupt Bryan in that moment. But just hold on and we'll be right to you. So feel free, 919-518-9773, or computers, which is plural, 2K voice. So Bryan, do you teach all subjects?
Yeah, I teach language arts, math, science, and social studies. So yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So tell us some of the fun things you do in each of those subjects.
All right. Well, a site that's really great for math is Study Jams. That has a lot of karaoke songs that have modern sounding beats that kids really take to. And one of the songs that we did was called Types of Lines from that site. And then together we worked together to create motions to go with the song, and I called that karaoke choreography. And students, come up with it and they do the dance. And you can actually view that on my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/edutainment23. And so they're coming up with the motions, for horizontal lines and vertical lines and parallel lines and intersecting lines. And I actually got an email last year from a student in middle school. She emailed me. She said, in middle school, we're learning about the types of lines, and I remembered that song. And can you send me the link so I can share it with my class? And she said, the PSSAs are coming up. Tell your kids not to worry. They're having a lot of fun in your class. And, when they're having fun, they're going to be learning, and it's not going to be a big deal. And the PSSAs are our Pennsylvania standardized tests. And she was just giving them an encouragement not to worry. So that's something I do.
Hold on. No, don't be sorry. Just be excited. All these people want to call and talk to you. Hold on. So I'm also going to remind people, when you call in, not only wait for us for a few moments, but make sure that you turn your computer down, because otherwise we'll have like this sound that we won't like. So first caller, hello.
Hi, this is Anne-Marie. I was in Mr. Spencer's 4th grade class last year. And one thing I want to say is that he really made things fun and learning, and you really remember them.
Anne-Marie, you are a sweetheart for calling. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, great. So did you always like to learn?
Not really.
So, but when you got into Mr. Spencer's class, that changed for you?
A lot.
How come, honey?
Because he really made things more fun than they usually were in other years.
That's great. That's so important. I'm so glad you said that, because learning should be fun, don't you think?
Yep.
So what are you going to do when you get out of school, honey?
I really don't know yet.
You don't know yet. Well, maybe you'll be a teacher just like Mr. Spencer and be able to help other young people see how the value of learning is so important. Maybe. I hope so. Is there anything else? Go ahead.
Hi, Anne-Marie. Thanks for calling in.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to Mr. Spencer?
Nope.
Bryan, you want to say anything else to her?
Well, I think she did like learning, though. I think she's a great student. She's been doing very well for many years. So, the teachers in my building are really fun as well. I mean, I'm blessed to work in a building with fun teachers, and the parents are amazing. So, I think she was still having fun before me, but I guess I was making it some more fun for her. I don't know. So
Maybe.
that's about, I just wanted to say that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Well, Anne-Marie, that was really wonderful that you called in. Thank you so much, honey.
You're welcome.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. And then we have another caller. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
This is Darlene.
Hey, Darlene.
And Mr. Spencer had my daughter last year. And I just wanted to call in and kind of agree with all the other callers that what a great teacher he was and what inspiration he is to the children. And not just to the children, but to all the other teachers in the school. Because it's infectious. Like, he's having fun with his class. It gives permission for other teachers to try new and different things as well. And I do see that all over the elementary school, that everybody's doing neat things with the kids and trying to make things relevant and make it fun.
You know, I'm so happy you said that, because I really believe the same thing you do, how it just takes one to do something, even when it's so much out of a box, but when everybody knows that it makes so much sense, that it just takes one for everybody to follow.
Exactly.
So thank you so much.
He does a great job, too, of getting the kids to work together as well. Like, he had different goals for them, so they had to do these fun things like disco snack, but it taught them to work together for a goal. And they also, I think, what he would work on is respect. So he's not just having fun, just have fun. He has goals, and he's teaching the children lifelong things that they're going to remember, how to work together, and just things that I know that they will remember.
Fabulous. I know, it's really a holistic approach to learning, isn't it, and teaching.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
he does care so much about the kids and that they are learning. He wants them to remember things, and he wants them to be relevant. And I know he even teaches them things that are appropriate, not appropriate. And there's so much technology out there that kids see, but he's giving them some guidelines as to what is appropriate and what might not be, and why, which I love that. I think that's great as a parent to have some back up on that. You know?
Right, and it's here to stay.
Right.
I mean,
right,
it's not going anywhere. I mean, people could say all they want that it's keeping people from this and keeping people from that, but it's really bringing us to things that heights that we may never have gotten to before, and it's here to stay.
That's right.
And I think the other thing I want to compliment, and I really appreciate you bringing up, is the fact that these kids, they're learning, but they're learning how to be friends. You know, they're learning how to be people.
Right.
It's great.
Teamwork's important, you know.
Yes. So, Bryan, you have anything to add to what Darlene is saying?
No, I just, I'm glad it was a very nice compliment. You know, sometimes I don't do well with compliments, but thanks, Darlene. I appreciate it. And I'm glad your daughter enjoyed being in the class and that she's being a good collaborator and working together towards a goal. I like what you said, too, about some of my fun things, disco snack, about how it isn't just a fun thing, but it's a tempting incentive. And the purpose behind it is for kids to work together to reach that goal and achieve that goal and then have fun. And, it's something they remember and talk about and makes them want to come to school. Some kids might not want to come to school, but if they're going to have disco snack on Friday, they might want to come, and they know they're working together for that goal. So thanks for mentioning that. It's a good point.
So you know what? We need all you parents out there and all the teachers that support this way of learning to really get out there and share it, because like Amnon just wrote on the on our chat, I would love to see teachers like this all over and here in North Carolina. I mean, maybe we have a teacher here and there, but this should become the norm, not like, wow, look what he's doing. This should be like everybody should be doing something like this. So thank you very much for calling.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. Anytime. So we have another caller. Hello? Hello? Somebody there? Okay. Just keep calling. We'd love to hear this because, I can sit here, and Bryan and I can sit here all day, and it would be great. But to hear your personal stories and your accounts of your children or your own personal experience with them in the classroom is so magnificent, and we'd love to have you. So 919-518-9773 or computers. Here we go. Computers 2K voice. Hello.
Hello. I'm calling about the Breaking Free program.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm calling about the Breaking Free program.
Okay, you're going to have to lower your computer so we don't hear me twice. We don't want to hear me twice. Once is enough.
Okay, I'm stepping away from it so I can just focus on what I'm saying.
Perfect.
I was watching at the same time. I'm calling because both of my children had Mr. Spencer in fourth grade. This is Lori Ramsey. Hi, Mr. Spencer.
Oh, hi, Mrs. Ramsey. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
I
Thanks
guess
for
so.
calling.
This is very exciting. I'm calling because I had a little anecdote that I don't know if you heard. When Mason had you in fourth grade, it was the last day of school, you sent home a video for all the kids to keep. And all other kids, on the last day of school are running out to the playground, having a great time. Woohoo, school's over. Mason came home and put that in and just watched it because he was so sad that fourth grade was over. It was just a great year for him. But it was great for both of my kids because Mr. Spencer has such a way of making the kids feel very comfortable in school, very low-risk environment. And I have two kids who are really kind of shy, and they both really came out of their shells. So I want to thank Mr. Spencer for helping them with that.
Hello. The FBI reports there is a home break-in every 15 seconds.
What is that? Wow, that's bizarre.
Oh, man.
Did you hear that?
Every 15 seconds.
My God, I have no idea where that came from. I want to ask you, so so both of your children had him. Now, where are they now? In what grade?
My daughter's a freshman in high school, and my son is in seventh grade.
Oh, wow.
The local middle school.
So what have they taken with them to where they are now?
I think a sense of confidence. I think it really helped them grow as learners. They felt more sure of themselves because they know they could handle it because Mr. Spencer, helped them to feel self-assured.
Uh-huh.
And to also just love learning. It's nothing new. I think you're going to hear from a lot of parents that he just does a wonderful job of getting the kids engaged.
Mm-hmm. And what can we do then? I mean, what are the types of things that we can do at this point to help spread this philosophy?
I think a lot of it is word of mouth. Mm-hmm. And I think also getting involved in the local, educational system, talking amongst ourselves, going to a board of ed meetings, speaking up about it, making board members see the importance of these kinds of techniques, and supporting teachers who do take risks. In addition to being a parent, I am an educator as well, and I read Mr. Spencer's book and was not only kind of reaffirmed some things that I already believed and was doing, but also got me motivated to get out there and, even do some more exciting stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think, spreading the word amongst ourselves as parents and educators, I think another caller kind of mentioned that. It gets everyone else kind of riled up and wants them to try some new things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate your sharing what you did, and I wish your children all kinds of success.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, and thank you, Mr. Spencer.
Thanks for calling in, Mrs. Ramsey. Tell Summer and Mason I say hi.
I will. All right. Thank
Bye-bye.
You for taking my call.
My pleasure. Our pleasure.
Okay.
So, Bryan, so let's get back to what you actually do. Uh-huh. We have another caller. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Hello.
Hi, this is Caitlin.
Who is this?
Caitlin.
Hey, Caitlin. How are you doing today?
Good.
Good. What would you like to say?
I was in Mr. Spencer's class last year, and I liked the plant cell project.
How come?
I liked doing the video and learning about it.
Mm-hmm. So what else did you like about being in Mr. Spencer's class?
I liked Disco Snack.
And what was Disco Snack? What was that?
Like every Friday or something, we would he would turn on his disco ball and put songs on, and everyone would just like dance or something.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's terrific. And you feel really good about calling, don't you, here?
Yeah.
How come?
Because I don't really know.
But you just know.
Yeah.
Good. Well, we're really happy to have you call in. And do you know what you want to do when you get to be big?
I want to be an artist.
You know what? That's perfect, Caitlin.
You're great at art, Caitlin. Keep drawing. Keep making art.
She's a great artist?
She's a great artist, yeah.
Cool. Well, maybe someday you can show me your art, huh?
Okay.
I would love that. Well, thank you so much for calling in, honey.
Bye.
Bye. What do you think, Bryan?
About the students calling in?
Yeah, about all of this.
It's interesting. I've never really done anything like this before, so I'm having a fun experience. And, whenever you hear parents calling in and kids calling in and saying they had fun in my class and they like going to school or I made a difference in some way, it makes, this so-called job, which isn't really, a job because I'm having fun doing it, but it makes this profession worthwhile whenever I can make a difference and then it's confirmed by somebody, by the strategies I implement and the risks I take. So that's kind of how I feel, just, blessed. And
well, you know what? I taught special ed for a little while, and it was honestly the worst year of my entire life. But listening to you, it's almost like, wow, I would love to go just do what you're doing, go back to school and be creative and do that. But it was awful because I taught special ed and behavior disorders, and I would turn on their music, Mozart and stuff, because I knew that would be calming, and the school wouldn't even let me do that.
Oh, wow.
And so, maybe that was, 10 years ago and things would be different today, I'd like to think.
Yeah.
But,
well, luckily I work, the district I work in, the administrators and the teachers and the families there are so supportive and they always want what's best for kids. And, I think I'm blessed to work in a district that allows these things. But, I always do have a reason. I think in education, you can do anything that's school appropriate that might not seem at first glance. But if the reasoning behind it is to work towards a common goal for collaboration and problem solving, like I said before, or just anything like that, or I think that you can back up a lot of things as long as you have a reason for it. I think sometimes teachers might just do stuff just to do it, but they don't have a good reason to do it. But if you have a good reason, I think you can do anything. The sky's the limit. Just make sure that your motivation behind it is for kids to become better learners and to have fun at school and become productive members of society in the future. Because each grade, we're there, every teacher every year is there to help a child become a productive member of society. That's the overall goal, and I think being intentional about what you're doing makes that difference.
And that's about anything we do. If you go with your entire heart and all your intention to get something done, there's no mountain you can't climb, no door you can't open, no person you can't speak to.
Right.
And whoever's listening to this, I speak from the truth. I mean, there's many things that would have seemed impossible to me. But that, you know what? I wanted it so badly. When you want something so badly, down to the bone, to your cell, to your core, there's nothing you can't do.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I try to set goals for myself all the time and just follow them through. I think taking risks and trying to achieve goals, and that's hopefully what I can show kids. Just take risks and make goals for yourself and try to meet those goals, whether it just be getting a C on a test. If you're the kind of learner that's always getting an F, if you get a C and you're giving it your all, that's a great goal to have.
Absolutely. And I want to just mention that there was another parent that wrote on our chat, and then I want to get to some of the other subjects. And I hope I pronounce your name right. If I'm not, please forgive me. Ziad Munson. He said, my daughter had Mr. Spencer in 4th grade as well. More than anything else, he fosters the love of learning that is so, and he puts so crucial in caps to the kids' success in future years. And I so, in caps, believe the same thing. I think it's just that love for learning. I mean, Because what is it that you can't learn when you love learning? I mean, you'll find the way to learn it. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So, okay,
That's true.
What were you going to say?
I know. So that's definitely true. Like, you know, if you're loving learning, then you're going to be learning, right?
Yeah, right. I mean,
It's
what
the
is
thing.
it you
If you
can't
love what
do?
you're doing, you'll learn doing it.
Yeah, man, it just happens that way. It's just a natural thing. So go ahead and share with us some of your other like things that you do, because I'm all ears.
Okay, so you know, back to math. You know, we do the karaoke choreography videos. There's the type of lines one, and I did another one with the types of triangles. And you know, once again, the kids are collaborating, coming up with movements, and then carrying those out. And then you know, I get parent permission to put it on YouTube, and people and other teachers can access that and use it in their classroom as well. So I think, in a sense, what we're doing is actually helping other classrooms and giving other classrooms, you know, some ideas or some fun ways to learn something just by watching it. So that's for math. I can move on to some other subjects. You know.
Yeah, I want to ask you though, but because you just opened up, and I'm sorry, I have to ask these
questions.
questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you said other teachers. So do you get a lot of requests from other teachers from different districts, different states, who are interested in your work?
I've had some emails from teachers that have a similar philosophy, and I've also gotten, you know, a teacher just recently from a local district saw an article in the review that was written about me, and she came and contacted me and came in and we sat down and talked about some of the strategies and websites they use and, you know, their effect on kids and, you know, how their achievement was as a result from that. So yeah, I have been getting a little bit of buzz from different articles that have discussed some of my strategies that have been written or that I've written as well, or that people that have written my book. And that's interesting because I don't know, I just am kind of humbled by the fact that anyone would, you know, want to take anything I have to say and count it as valuable, I guess, and then want to use it. I guess that's a really big compliment. So I'm, you know, grateful for that and blessed to be able to help someone, which is, you know, a very important thing. You know, helping people in life is key and crucial. So
yes, it is. And so why don't you just tell us the name of the book, and you have it with you there that you can hold it up?
Oh yeah, I can hold it up. It's called Edutainment, Entertainment in the K through 12 Classroom. It's a quick read. I wrote it, you know, to be informative pleasure reading, I call it, you know, because I know teachers don't have a lot of time to be reading. You know, they're always planning lessons and things, you know, and the fact is a lot of teachers are there till 7 o'clock at night or there at 7 o'clock in the morning when the kids aren't coming till 8:40. I know a lot of teachers working 12-hour days. And so I made a book, you know, that was informative pleasure reading, that was quick and, you know, that had strategies and funny stories. I always started off kind of each chapter with a funny story and then talked about, you know, some suggestions for kindergarten through 12th grade teachers, what they could use and how they could adapt it for their classroom. So
Amnon's got the video. Is that the video? He's got the video up so everybody can watch the trailer for the book. Is that what you have? Okay, here we go.
Howdy, partner. Howdy, partner.
Good morning, Lincoln. We're the band Switchfoot.
And today we are going to review the positive steps. Be respectful. Be responsible. Be safe.
What kind of plants are in Alaska?
A lot of pine trees and aspens. In North Alaska, there's no trees. It's just tundra.
Well, here we are!
Queasy. Roller coasters make me feel queasy.
Breathe out, let your mind unwind. Eyes on the ceiling, looking for the feeling.
Horizontal straight left to right. Vertical lines, up and down to the sky. Intersecting lines, cross over time. Parallel lines, never touch the other line.
Oh, you're my best friend. Ooh, you make me live.
Pretzel hop.
Here's to the twilight. Here's to the memories. These are my souvenirs. mental pictures of everything. Here's to the late nights, here's to the firelight. These are my souvenirs, my souvenirs.
Fantastic. That was just so great. That's terrific, Bryan. Terrific. So we have a question on the chat, which I want to go ahead and ask you.
Okay.
It's from Chris, and she said she has a question. How would you use edutainment to help a fourth grader with great ideas to actually get his thoughts organized and the words down on paper?
So a student that is having a hard time writing what they're thinking.
Expressing themselves, I guess?
Well, definitely let them, I have a karaoke machine in my room with a microphone. Let them verbalize it first, and then just providing encouragement. I think a lot of times just doing that, I mean, as far as edutainment for writing, there's a great site called Vocabulary that has educational hip-hop videos. And, once they know how to have a subject and a predicate and things of that nature, then, they'll be able to write better. I don't know. It depends on what that kid needs. Do they need help with sentence structure? Then I could show that in a fun video format using Vocabulary or a site called Brain Pop or things like that, or a music video. Or I could even have a person scribe their ideas that they give verbally, and then we can talk about it and see, what's catching them up on not being able to get their ideas down on paper,
So you use other resources other than your own, or do you create all these on your own?
Yeah, I think I'd say like 70% of my book are, things I've kind of come up with. And then the other, 30% are some established techniques that I embrace and that I adapt to utilize. And especially, using music videos or karaoke choreography, I'm going to need some outside sources to implement that. But the biggest thing is knowing about them. There's so much there in the technology world on the internet. It's hard to find it. So, I kind of have a voice to verbalize some of those things in my book. Some of those outside resources like Brain Pop.
So these resources that other teachers are using, or is this
a lot of them I have found, and then I was able to share them with my colleagues, and then they're able to utilize them as well.
So who's creating them?
Lots of people create, music videos. It can be people like me, other teachers.
Okay.
A lot of times, you can use music videos, for instance, to teach story structure. You can have the kids work together and look at a Taylor Swift music video, which has a lot of story structure with conflict and plot events and resolution, and break that down to introduce story structure as opposed to doing it with maybe some form of text. Or you could even take, the lyrics to a song and then see how the producer and director of a music video portrayed those lyrics, even though you may have taken it differently. Lyrics are a type of poetry. So, it can be anyone's creating this. Everyone's creative. So using things like music videos that someone did all the hard work for you, but you never think to use them in the classroom. It's really, really cool.
So when and you're right, everybody's creative. We just are not allowing sometimes our creativity to go places that it should go, but we're not allowing it to go because we're scared.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people don't even think to use, something like music videos.
But music videos, exactly. I mean, it's perfect. But when you mentioned Brain Pop, now who created that? What is that?
Brain Pop is an educational site that takes, skills in all subject areas and makes it into like a 3 to 5 minute movie with cartoon characters, and there's a quiz to follow and activities, and I think that's a key thing because kids love, cartoons. All ages love cartoons. They love, music and videos. So like that has some of that in there, and it's a cartoon and kids can watch it and introduce a lesson, and then they can reflect upon that as they're learning the lesson in further detail. Okay. And I think the quiz component's great because, when there's a quiz at the end, it's an interactive quiz. They're reflecting upon what they're learning and really thinking about it instead of just watching a movie. Hey, you're done. We don't talk about it or anything.
Right.
But like having that assessment component, to anything you do is important as long as it's not taking up the whole day.
Well, I have another question to ask you about Brain Pop, but we have somebody on the phone, so I want to get to that. Hello.
Hey, it's me. I'm Evan. I'm Mr. Spencer in my 4th grade class.
And who is this again? I'm sorry.
I'm Evan. I'm Mr. Spencer from my 4th grade class.
Hi, Evan. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good. So you had him or you have him now?
I had him last year.
Okay.
He was probably the best teacher I ever had and never will.
Why do you say that, honey?
He had a great personality. He acts like a kid. He does very fun things.
Wow, that is a special comment. And so, what will you take from what you learned from him forward into the rest of your life?
I would use his strategies to help me do problems in the future.
And what do you want to do in the future?
I don't know, maybe be a teacher in the off-season of baseball.
Wow, that's a big compliment. Bryan, what did you want to say?
Oh, no, I was just smiling,
I heard that smile.
Yeah.
Evan, so he taught you a lot, didn't he, about problem solving?
Yes.
That's really great. And I'm really glad you called in today. Is there anything else you'd like to tell Mr. Spencer?
No, I think I'm done.
What was that, honey? I'm sorry?
No, I think I'm done.
You think you're done. Well, you said some great things, so thank you for calling in. And thank you for taking the time. You know why it's important for other people to hear what you have to say? But you know why that is? You know why that is? Because you matter so much, and what you have to say, we want other kids to have the same experience that you had. So thank you for sharing it.
You're welcome.
Bye. Thanks, Evan. Have fun at school today.
Is he in school? Is he still in your building?
Yeah, he's probably he's in the 5th grade classroom across the hall from me, Mr. Verley's class.
Uh-huh.
So I think he has his class tuning in.
Oh, that's terrific.
All the kids had me last year. So
great. Well, we thank you all, every one of the colleagues of Mr. Spencer's, for taking the time out of your day to be with us here. I think one of the things I'm curious about, and I could go on and on and on with you, is this thing about this brain pop. So a company creates these things. Well, I want to know why more people are not using it, I guess, is my question. If these things are already out there, why are they not using it?
I think it's just because there's so much out there. It's hard to find the time to narrow it down or to even find it. So I think what Mrs. Ramsey was saying, word of mouth. And Brain Pop is getting bigger. They do some seminars around the country, and you can sign in as a teacher for differentiation. They actually have a Brain Pop Junior now and a Spanish version. And they also have, there's a version in the UK. That's just one small part of what I do. And I think it's starting to get out there more. And, mentioning it, in a book or mentioning it on social network is getting it out there, and using it's getting it out there. And because kids are sharing with their parents, and their parents are teachers or their parents know teachers. So anything I'm using in the classroom can get out through word of mouth.
I bet a lot of your kids didn't get sick. I bet you had probably one of the best attendance records ever.
Yeah, I think my building as a whole tends to have a really great attendance record. We have a lot of kids that get perfect attendance, and they get put in a drawing. The principal does this cool drawing where you put in everyone's name for perfect attendance, and they can win a bicycle at the end of the year, or other cool prizes like an electric scooter. That's really, really a neat thing.
And I have to compliment you. You're so wonderful, and you really do practice what you preach as far as collaboration is concerned, because you always include everybody else in your answers.
We can't get anything accomplished without everyone around you. If it was just me, I think we need each other. As silly as that sounds, I think we all need each other. That's why collaboration is so important.
No, it's not silly at all. We're all pieces of the whole. It's one big hologram.
Yeah.
Not silly at all. So where do you want to take us next? Because I can keep on taking us places. You take me now.
I don't know. One of my favorite parts of the book trailer that you showed has the band Switchfoot. They're a Grammy award-winning rock band.
Say that again. I'm sorry, I missed what you just said.
There's a band Switchfoot in the book trailer that I showed you. They're a Grammy award-winning rock band, and I got them. I had backstage passes that I had won, on a radio show, and I got backstage and I just took my camera and I said, hey guys, can you recite our school's rules in the camera for me? Be respectful, be responsible, and be safe. And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I was able to take that footage and make a video for our school rules that, the principal could show at the assemblies. It's on my website and people can clap along. And I think in regards to edutainment, a lot of teachers wouldn't think, hey, if you try to enter contests to win backstage passes to see a concert, or when you're backstage, think to maybe ask a rock star or, an actor or whatever to recite your school's rules into the camera and use that in the classroom. If the kids see a rock star reciting school rules, I think they're going to remember it better and they're going to take to it and say, hey, everyone has to follow the rules. Even rock stars think it's important. So why not? Why don't I think it's important? It is important. So I think that was just something I wanted to talk about, because I think it's cool and it's something little that teachers can do. Just get, if they're backstage and they in a radio contest and they can get footage of anybody in pop culture to reiterate what they're teaching. I think that's a cool little strategy.
And I thought I understood. That's why I keep asking about this this thing. I really thought I understood what you were doing, but I really understand it right now when you just said that. So for you, edutainment, it's a philosophy. It's not just these things that you get off the internet and you might do for English, or you might do for social studies and math, but it's your entire way of teaching. Everything about you is about entertainment.
Yeah, definitely, because kids are learning when they're entertained, and I think they can all relate to pop culture. Most of them, a lot of them are living out there in the world. A lot of kids can't relate to some things, but they know who Taylor Swift is. If you can bring that into a lesson, go ahead and do it. I did a lesson on teaching style and writing, and I showed a picture of Taylor Swift like with her hair back, with a shopping cart, and she had not fancy clothes on. And then I showed a picture of her in her Grammy gown, the gown that she would wear at the Grammy Awards, not like she's a grandma. But and then talking about how she did little things to make her appearance more formal, and you can do little things to make your writing more formal. For instance, you can have attention-getting leads. You can add in some more adjectives. You can add figurative language. Just those few little things makes your writing have more style. Just like, Taylor Swift can put on a dress and some earrings and let down her hair, and she has more style, as opposed to just when she's writing a grocery list. You don't need to write with style. But when you're writing, a book, or when you're writing a passage that you have to write about in school, you can write with style and just do little things like I said, adding figurative language and attention-getting leads and things like that. But they can all think back, oh, that was a Taylor Swift lesson, I can relate to her, and how you don't need those things for a grocery list, but you do need those things for formal writing, just like you have a formal gown. So sorry to ramble.
No, you're not rambling, because I'm sitting here and I'm absolutely agreeing with you, and you're taking me through the process, which I love, because there's nothing we're talking about here that is solely for the fourth grade. I mean, everything that Bryan is speaking about is anything that we can apply to everything that we do as adults, as entrepreneurs, as mothers, fathers, business owners. Anybody can apply to what they already do, in paying attention. I mean, basically. Yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Let me just say a couple of things. Mrs. Willie says hi.
Oh, cool. Hi, Mrs. Williams. She teaches fourth grade with me. She's an edutainer as well.
She is?
Yes.
I bet she's some.
Mrs. Repko, she's my other colleague in fourth grade.
And then there was another comment here. Oh, thank you, Mr. Spencer, for making learning fun. This is T.
Could be Mrs. Tintle. She's the ESL teacher, I'm guessing. Or Mrs. Trujillo. I have a couple Mrs. T's in my building.
And then Keith wrote, love this guy. I'm an adult and he teaches me stuff every day. He truly uses his spiritual gift. And he's a friend.
Nice. Yeah, that's funny. He's one of my buddies, Keith. We hang out a lot.
And I want to say, Keith, you nailed it right there, because we learn so much from each other. I mean, and we're all teachers, and we're all gurus of sorts. And so it's really, and we want to be around people who excite us. We want to, and that energy and that personality draws people in. So no wonder that it's going to draw a fourth grader in, it will draw a kindergartner in, it'll draw a college student, it'll draw me in, So that's great. So thank you, Keith, for sharing that. Okay, what next, Bryan? You tell us. We have like a few minutes left, so tell me anything else that you can share before we end up winding down.
Yeah, I think what we're doing right now is very valuable in the classroom. I mean, you have a profession of a talk show host. I could bring you in, to the classroom, and kids could ask you questions about that profession, and is problem solving and collaboration pertinent to that? And one of the chapters in my book is called Conference Call, and I just on a whim called up one of my college buddies who was living in the mountains of Colorado, and when we were learning about mountains and in class, and he answered, and the kids were able to ask him questions about Colorado. I just took my cell phone actually here, and and I plugged it into the computer speakers. What a lot of people don't realize is that you can actually plug your cell phone into any kind of computer speakers. It goes right into the headphone jack. And my kids were able to have a conversation. I put him on speakerphone, and then his talking was coming through my computer speaker, so they could hear him just on a whim and ask him questions about the plant life and the wildlife and the culture in the mountainous region we were learning about mountain kind of ecosystems and things like that. I think that's something valuable that's edutaining. Kids right now are watching, and they're hopefully being attentive. I don't know, this isn't necessarily a kid's show, but I think they're attentive because you are an expert in the field of talk show hosting.
Well, I think what I do, which is something that I think I'd love to get out to kids as well and to everybody, is listening. Like, I'm sitting here and I am really, got my ears plugged up. I mean, I am right here. I'm not again. I'm really listening to what you have to say. I'm engrossed and I'm paying attention. And when people call in, this is of sorts problem solving because I'm paying attention to everything. Time, Bryan, the phone call. So it's so important. And I know what you're teaching your kids are going to set them up to be able to do these kinds of things. Your kids are going to be able to do anything they set their mind to do.
Hopefully.
I believe it. Any kid in your school that is working with you and your colleagues are going to be able to do anything they want to do.
Yeah, one of the biggest messages I try to get across to kids is that if you work hard, and strive, you can accomplish anything. I think that's really an important part of my classroom culture.
Absolutely.
We need to work hard.
Absolutely. So just tell everybody where they can find your book.
You can find my book on Amazon.com, BarnesNoble.com, where you can go into any bookstore, and order it. So I guess most people have been getting it from Amazon or Barnes & Noble. But basically anywhere, any website books are sold, you can order it. And Amazon's probably the easiest way to get it. I know they have 10% off right now on the book.
And if you do us a favor and put the link and put anything you want on the Breaking Free page on Facebook, that would be great. And then we're going to add show notes to our Breaking Free page on Facebook and my personal MarilynShannon.com website. So we'll put show notes there so that if anything came up that you missed, a link or any part of the conversation that we had, you can feel free to go there and we'll have a summary up probably by tomorrow. And then I also want to say that I have written an ebook, and it's an introduction to listening and this idea of quick listening, and it's a new paradigm that I am writing about. And you can find it on MarilynShannon.com. If you go there, you'll see a tab. It'll say ebook. Sign up for it because it'll be the first of 3. And listening to me is everything. So, Bryan, in winding down, we have another minute. What would you like to leave our audience with?
Well, I have a quote in my book I'd like to read. I think it goes with kind of the gist of your show. And it's by Jim McCormick. He's a professional skydiver and innovator. And I just use his quote in my introduction because it kind of set the scene for my whole book. He says, "Although settling into your comfort zone may be tempting, it will not put you on the track to success. Growing personally and professionally requires you to bolster your risk-taking skills." And so I think, risk-taking is important as long as it's appropriate. And I think, in my teaching, I had to take a lot of risks. When I first started Disco Snack, the principal walked in, and would you know that she started dancing along with us because she has spoken to me and she knew that it had value once I talked to her about it. And plus, she just likes to have fun when I first started. So I think, take risks and good things will usually follow.
I so agree, and I think the fun element is something that sometimes we leave out of things, but it's so important. So let me thank Bryan for being here today, and all of the kids that called in, and the parents, and all of your teachers that are listening, and all the kids that are watching that didn't get to call in, and probably your principal, and all these other people that are supporting you, and everybody else out here. This is a great book. This is a great concept. It's a philosophy. It's not just an action one time. It's something that you take on and you do, and you look. And this you look. These are the eyes that you want to begin to look through. Is the eyes of entertainment in school and with everything about learning. So I want to thank you, Bryan. You've been great.
Hey, thanks for giving me a voice. I'm blessed to be here. Thanks.
We're blessed to have you here, and we're blessed to have you out there.
Thanks.
And with that, I want to thank everybody for being here today. Thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing from you once again. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Sundays, 9 a.m. till noon. Carrie's Psychic Cafe with Carrie Silkowski, Sundays, 8 till 9 p.m. Health In with Debbie Bruck, Mondays, 11 a.m. till noon. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays, 1 till 2 p.m. Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, the second and fourth Wednesday of each month from 7:30 till 8:30 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays, 9 till 10 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by ThatVidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.